So yeah, game number 3 between these two players. This is basically my favorite part of the best of 3 because now it's balls to the wall. Both players really. This is their moment. This is where they have to go in order to advance to the DSCL offline finals in The Hague.
Yep, and yeah, game threes in these tight situations are always just so absolutely intense. And the map will be Star Station. And well, series tied up 1-1. Let's go ahead and introduce our players. In the bottom right of the map, we have our purple Protoss. He did lose game number 1, but came with a pretty cool 7-gate timing in game number 2, catching his opponent off guard, being pretty greedy. Representing Team Mouse Control, his name is Darkomicron. And in the top left, representing Team Knights, won game number 1 in a pretty strong sort of macro-style affair and actually just dominated it, but looking to come back and win this game 3, or else his trip will not happen to the offline finals. The winner does go to that. His name is RainMan.
Yeah, I like the banter at the start of it. Saying GLHF and then the first name of your opponent is a very Stefano-esque thing to do. He would always do that, especially if he got matched up against Grubby on ladder or something. And yeah, that's just a little bit of banter. These players, they've both been in the scene for quite a long while, and this is really it for them in order to get that spot at the DSCL finals.
When you're at the top level of like your kind of like nation's area of StarCraft, or like your region, you end up like meeting at small LANs and finals and semifinals a lot. So you really get used to meeting these guys, both on the ladder and just in person at LANs like that. So I mean, these guys surely know each other very well.
Yeah, and the LAN scene in the Netherlands is not that big. It used to be a lot bigger, but then brought that internet happened and people got more comfortable just playing from home. But yeah, at the few events we have, you will see teams like Knights, Lowland Lions, and Mouse Control being very well represented in the competitions that are always present at most of these esports tournaments in the Netherlands.
And well, I would be surprised to see much different from what we have so far as openings are concerned. They've just shown they're comfortable with that opening, and maybe trying to do different things once they've started that way. But I mean, that
I've learned, I learned this is not going to happen.
Yeah, we're going to see the Nexus first, almost certainly in the Forge, once again from our Protoss player, and a little bit better at the Pro block this time at the natural. Oh, well, okay, not quite.
Oh,
there
nice.
We go. So that was a little bit better. And yeah, the Probe, well, he was at Orange Hell, so he kind of had to back off right then anyway, so a little bit better. But, I mean, things with these kind of slower openings, that's about all we can kind of watch for and commentate on, it seems. But yeah, now we'll kind of simmer back down into what we're used to seeing.
The thing about RainMan, which I'm worried about in this game, is the fact that he, not only did he lose the previous game, but I'm very concerned as to the fact if he was really going for something, and if this hasn't really affected him mentally. If he probably thought to himself like, maybe I was just playing sloppy, or just didn't see that coming, because scouting for a third Nexus or seeing this, this push from Darko coming was not all that difficult, and he just got completely off guard with his queens and his links, and that can be very disheartening for a player.
Yeah, I mean, he had layers, so oversheer scouting more than, I mean, certainly something you could do, and just not being able to spot that out is. I mean, you need to make sure. I mean, you'd expect the Protoss to turtle and Aklon waste, but I mean that can go so you can never really be too sure. And as we see the Cybernetics core on the way, starting to see some pros make their way down to the second Nexus, and the third base for RainMan is about halfway done.
Speaking of probes, there's one hiding in the bottom left. That's not going to get spotted at all. However, yeah, normally you would see the Protoss either keep it around his opponent's base just to try and get another scout off, or return it for mining purposes. But in this case, he's very likely to play, throw a proxy pylon down there somewhere. And I said it's not going to get spotted. Well, this Ling here that's approaching is not going to make my day.
Yeah, that kind of weird place to send that Ling as well. I mean, maybe it's just like, there could be a scouting probe over here. Let's take that out. So I was going to say you could use that probe to maybe go look at the third base and check on that timing, but, well, that's not going to happen, as this probe will be chased out and killed. So a little unfortunate news for him. And, well, the scouting for RainMan already a little bit better this game. Has the Overlord in position, already watching that natural gas geyser as well. So that's in a good position. And, yeah, I think it's just a little bit better so far. Being a bit more safe with the scouting already so far in this game.
He's actually sending a second probe all the way to the top right this time. So this really indicates to me that he wants to get something done, and he does. Was this a gateway expand? I can't say for sure. I don't think so, because the Cybernetics score would have been earlier if it was.
It was
but yeah, here we go. Boom. 6 gates, 7 gates, 7 gates. Once again.
7 gates, no backup from any sort of for box units this time, but we're going to see a big old timing attack here. Yeah, one gas. It's going to be almost entirely Zealots, and, well, let's take a look at what RainMan can do to defend here. No Spine Crawlers or anything. He has currently 3 Queens, so that helps out a bit, but this third base is a bit on its own, so that's certainly going to be one vulnerable spot this probe can look to attack, and we're going to see the proxy pylon planted right down already. And, well, I mean, Roach Warren is now on the way, but it's only just now started, and this third base could be in a lot of trouble before those roaches actually manage to get out.
There's double gas being mined for RainMan, so he will be able to mine quite a bit. But once this first warp in here comes in for Darko, that's a really big indication, of course, for RainMan that the first attack is going to commence. And he warps in Stalkers first, and now the Zealots come, because you need that DPS in order to actually fight against the Lynx. I don't see any more drones on the way here for RainMan, but he still doesn't have Link speed, so Darko could do a lot of damage here.
Yep, we do have 9 roaches on the way, so the Link is basically going to try and just hold off as long as they can. Nice surround of those Zealots, and they weren't even attacking while they were in there trying to move command. So very nicely done, and, well, that gives a lot of time for these roaches to pop out. With 11 roaches and this many Lings, I think RainMan should be okay to hold, but I mean, 7 gates is still a lot of production. We'll have to see how good the micro is in control with the roaches. And also, the roaches pop out here. That's not a good position to start out at all.
Oh, now more Lynx pop out, getting immediately damage done to these Lynx and these Zealots. This is what it's going to go down to for Darko. He needs to micro these Stalkers perfectly in order to avoid as much damage from the roaches. But it seems RainMan responded to this at the exact same mode that he need to. And now he's finally taking out this Protoss force. Is he though? Zealots are doing a lot of damage to these Lynx, and now the roaches being picked off by the Stalkers one by one. It's so close though.
I just think with the flood here, I mean, the Zealot count is just not high enough to really make these, to shut down these Zerglings, and the Zerglings will absolutely maul these Stalkers. Nice surround there. And with this all Stalkers going down, I mean, the Zealots they're not safe from these roaches at all. And I think once these Zealots die, I mean, DarkoMicron can try hang around. I mean, his offline final spot is at stake here, but he is down a lot right now, and there's really not a whole lot he can do in the situation to catch up.
Yeah, the only thing he can do is try to tech or maybe expand, and he's restarted his pro production. He's adding on gas, but as well as the Twilight Council. But you're right. What can he really do? I mean, RainMan has delayed all of his tech as well, but just look at the income. He's actually not that far ahead.
I was gonna say, well, like literally all of DarkoMicron's supplies and probes right now, pretty much. Like literally every single bit. There's nothing else on the units tab at all. So
there we go.
Yeah, that'll do it. Here comes a big attack at the front, and well, when you only have probes, it turns out you can't stop roaches from killing you. So yeah, I mean, this is gonna be the end here for Darko, and it was a nice idea, but like it's just the response is perfect. The scout was good. The Roach Horn came at the right time, and it's just like the Zerg's been responding to this timing attack for a long time, and they know how to do it, and they know how to engage perfectly. And I mean, RainMan did everything basically about as well as he could have. Actually, not going to go for the kill right now. He's just going to back off.
He's going to back off. He's in the head. He's in the lead. He's added gas on all of his bases, and he's mining fully of them. So I do expect him to throw down his fire and go in the unit. Transition into the unit that Darko hates the very most, which is of course the Mutalisk. And he's even taking it forth, so his goal here is not to kill Darko. He wants to just force units to keep his opponent on 2 bases, and if he does that successfully, he will, win the game. There's really no other way to put it.
You're gonna start pushing the front here, and well, these Zealots just there's nothing to do against these roaches right now. Mothership Core trying to do what it can. The wall breaks down, and here do come the roaches, and they're gonna start going to work. I mean, the Mothership Core eventually will kill everything here, but, I mean, not before the entire base is dead, unfortunately.
Yeah, he sees there was just not enough here for the pros to defend and decides, well, in that case, I'm just going to have to kill you, I'm afraid. And he marches the roaches in, starts taking on all the buildings, all of the probes. Darko warps in a lot more Stalkers and Zealots, and even pulls probes in an adequate, attempt to defend. And I think he will,
push
barely hold, but he's taking so much damage.
And like you were said, I mean, this whole time we see RainMan, it's reminiscent of Game 1 in a certain sense, pressuring, keeping his opponent on the back foot while taking bases everywhere. He really does like playing pretty. I mean, he's obviously really far ahead, so it's not that greedy anymore. But like taking a lot of bases all at one time is something he's a big fan of. Yeah. And yeah, but he's in a fantastic spot right now, and well, his economy is gonna be out of this world very soon.
Important to point out though is the fact that not necessarily is he playing greedy, but he plays. He's playing mostly responsive, which I think, he's taking the bases because he can afford to, and he will be safe in doing so. So it's a rather good decision. And yeah, here come the Mutasks, and I do feel these combined with a big Ling run by will just completely finish the game here.
Yep, and Ling's on the way out across the map. And where are those Mutalisks? Only not too many Mutalisks at this point in time. Oh, there are 11. Sorry, there was a pack that I did not catch on. There's 15 now, so yeah, this is more than enough to really kind of keep... Well, Darkomicron's moving his army across the map, and by army I mean 4 Zealots, a couple of Stalkers, Mothership Corps, a couple of Archons, but yeah. Well, he realizes that he's in a really tough situation, and he's basically going to try and do what he can, I guess, or just... I don't know. This army really doesn't stand a chance against everything that RainMan can bring to bear on him at this point in time.
Yeah, even actually no upgrades on the way at all for... Well, there are some on the way, but these Ling and Mutas don't have any at this point, so +1 now finishes for the Protoss, so if there's any time in the world to go, it's now, but he's literally half of his opponent's supply.
Yeah, and the army supply right now 98 to 50 specifically, so that tells a pretty big tale. I mean, this is Archon's pretty darn good against Mutalisks, and you can see the splash damage going to effect right there. But I mean, they're just not going to last that long to make that big of a difference. And the Archons do fall. And actually, there's one still left, still doing pretty decent damage. Time Warp does go down, and these Mutas are all pretty low from the splash, but it's just not enough. And Darkomicron will fall, and RainMan takes this.